Hello everyone. In this video I will be discussing learning objective 5 of week 10. So I will be talking about two interdependence techniques here. One is cluster analysis and another is multidimensional scaling. So as we already know that interdependence techniques of multivariate analysis are used when we have multiple variables and the variables are not related in terms of dependence and independence. That means there is no dependence-independence relationship, rather than there is an interdependence relationship. Then we use interdependence techniques. We already discussed one interdependence techniques, that is factor analysis, in the last video. So in this video we will be discussing two others, cluster analysis and multidimensional scaling. So first of all, a cluster analysis. So in cluster analysis, from the name or from the term you understand, we will be clustering our observations. Okay, that means if we have a large number of observations, we will be clustering them into two or more mutually exclusive and exhaustive groups that will represent some characteristics of the group. Okay, don't be confused between factor analysis that we discussed in the last video and in this video what we are discussing is cluster analysis. Factor analysis reduces the number of variables into some factors, whereas in cluster analysis we do not combine the variables into factor. Rather, in cluster analysis we group our observations or group our individuals, group into some mutually exclusive groups, mutually exclusive and exhaustive groups, and individuals or observations are grouped in such a way so that there is a high similarity within the group. However, there will be dissimilarity across the groups. Okay, that means there will be high homogeneity within the groups, but there will be heterogeneity across the groups. Look at this example. Here we have in the vertical axis, we have number of vacations days and we have dollars spent on vacations. So we have collected these two variables from a large number of people, that how much dollar they spent on vacations and how many days they spend on vacations. And we have created this diagram where each combination, for example, any point will indicate that how much dollar a particular respondent spent and how many days they spend in vacation. Now, if you carefully look, that we have grouped all the observation into these three. Okay, so rather than having a very scattered observation, we have grouped them in these three. And in group one, where we have three observations, L, H, and B, or you can say we have three respondents, they are actually in a group that represent that they spend low amount of dollar. However, they spend a large number of days in vacation. And group two, where we have, let's say, 5 respondents, K, F, G, I, and A, this group actually spend a moderate amount of dollar and number of days. And last of all, this is the group that includes respondents C, E, D, and J. Probably they are elite group respondents because they spend a large amount of dollar. However, number of days spent in vacation is relatively smaller. So the purpose of cluster analysis is to just grouping observations to get some characteristics of each of the groups. The last interdependence technique that we will be using is multidimensional scaling. So in multidimensional scaling, what we actually do is we ask our respondents to provide their judgment about some variables. It's a judgmental response about some variables or some factors. And based on their judgmental answer, we place them in a multidimensional space, so that provides us some information. For example, look at this diagram. It's an example of multidimensional scaling. So here, respondents were asked to provide their judgment on some very famous business schools like Chicago, Carnegie, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Wharton, Stanford, and Harvard. So They were asked to provide their judgment on how much qualitative curriculum or quantitative curriculum they follow and how much prestigious they are. So all our respondents provided their judgment in terms of the prestige and quantitative or qualitative curriculum of these six business schools. And on the basis of their respondents, on the basis of their responses, they are placed in these multidimensional space. And you can see that if you look at this part, for example, that's actually represent more qualitative curriculum and more prestigious, and this one is more prestigious and more quantitative curriculum. This one is less prestigious but more quantitative, and this one is less prestigious and more qualitative curriculum. So you can say Harvard and Stanford is in the place where qualitative curriculum and more prestige. Chicago is less prestige but more qualitative, and Carnegie and MIT is more quantitative and less prestige. So this is the way we use multidimensional scaling to get some judgmental answer of our respondents and categorize them on the basis of different scales. So this is a summary of the three interdependence techniques we have discussed in these and the last two videos: factor analysis, cluster analysis, and multidimensional scaling. So to summarize, factor analysis reduces a large number of variables into some factors, and cluster analysis classify individuals or our respondent into a small number of mutually exclusive and exhaustive groups. And multidimensional scaling actually place objects in a multidimensional space based on the respondent's judgmental answer. And the type of measurement scale are interval for factor and cluster, and varies depending on technique. So in this chapter, we basically learned multiple regression, multiple discriminant analysis as the dependence techniques, and we also learned interdependence techniques. Those are factor analysis, cluster analysis, and multidimensional scaling. Thank you very much.